When was the last time you felt truly, unapologetically powerful as a man? I'm not talking about the fleeting high of lifting a heavy weight or winning a video game. I'm talking about a deep, resonant power in the very core of your being. The quiet, unshakable confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. The certainty that you are the master of your own destiny, the captain of your own ship. When was the last time you felt that? Let me guess. It's been a while. Or maybe, if you're being brutally honest with yourself, you've never felt it at all. You can't, because you've been systematically programmed from birth to doubt your own nature. You've been told your entire life that your natural masculine instincts, the very things that built civilizations, won wars, and propelled humanity forward, are toxic. Your ambition is diagnosed as greed. Your desire to lead is reframed as oppressive. Your physical strength is seen not as a tool for protection, but as an inherent threat. Your stoicism is emotional unavailability. Your very essence has been pathologized, dissected, and labeled as a problem for society to solve. They've been feeding you a steady diet of cultural poison, and you've been swallowing it down like a good boy. In this video, I'm not going to give you a list of 5 manly hobbies, or tell you to grow a beard. That's surface-level nonsense, a costume for boys playing dress-up. I am going to dissect the cultural programming that has been force-fed to you, expose it for the lie that it is, and then hand you the antidote. This is the blueprint for rebuilding the man you are always meant to be, from the foundation up. This isn't about looking like a man, it's about becoming one. Men today confuse the costume of masculinity with the substance of it. They think it's about beards, flannel shirts, knowing how to fix a car, or drinking whiskey neat. That's a hollow aesthetic, a marketing campaign. True masculinity is not an external display. It is an internal state of being. It's an architecture built within your soul. It's the unwavering calm you possess when everyone else in the room is panicking. It's the quiet confidence that radiates from you not because you think you're better than anyone else, but because you've tested yourself against the world and you know what you're capable of. It's the relentless drive to impose order on a chaotic world, and you understand that this project begins with imposing order on your own mind, your own body, and your own finances. At its core, authentic masculinity is the voluntary acceptance of responsibility. It is competence in action. It's the silent promise you make to yourself and the world that when things fall apart, you will be the one to hold them together. I remember my first major business failure. It was catastrophic. I wasn't just broke, I was deep in the red 6 figures of debt that felt like a concrete block chained to my ankle. I lost the company, the office, the apartment. I ended up sleeping on a stained mattress on the floor of a friend's spare room. My girlfriend at the time, of course, left. She gave me the classic speech about needing space and wanting to find herself. The truth is, she needed a man who wasn't a complete wreck, and I couldn't blame her. The world had hit me with a knockout punch, and I was on the canvas. The average man would have stayed down. He would have blamed the economy, his business partner, his ex-girlfriend. He would have drowned his sorrow in cheap beer and self-pity. I was tempted. But then I remembered a simple, brutal truth. No one was coming to save me. My success was my responsibility, and therefore my failure was my responsibility too. So I got up every morning at 4:30 a.m. I took a job in demolition, swinging a sledgehammer for 12 hours a day until my hands were raw, just to have cash flow. And every single night from 7 p.m. until I passed out from exhaustion, I sat at a beat-up desk with a borrowed laptop, building a new business plan, cold-calling potential investors, and teaching myself a new skill set. There was no audience. There was no one to impress. There was only the cold, hard reality that I was the only man who could pull myself out of that fire. That brutal, relentless, unglamorous acceptance of absolute responsibility. That is the bedrock of manhood. Women do not want a boy they have to mother through a crisis. They want a man who becomes a fortress when the storm hits. And you don't build a fortress when it starts raining. You build it long before, brick by painful brick. The single biggest, most destructive mistake that modern men make is that you are constantly, desperately seeking permission to be men. You act like a guest in your own life, timidly waiting for an invitation that will never come. You apologize for your ambition in conversations, qualifying your goals with, "I know it sounds crazy, but..." You downplay your strengths to make others feel more comfortable. You ask for consensus from your girlfriend or your buddies on decisions you should be making with conviction. You have effectively outsourced your masculine identity to a committee of people who do not have your best interests at heart. Social media influencers selling you a fantasy, university professors deconstructing your nature, and resentful journalists who have never built a single thing of value in their entire lives. You are a king who has been convinced he is a peasant, and you spend your days asking the court jesters for permission to sit on your own throne. Let's dissect this with cold, hard logic. Nature, both in the wild and in human society, abhors a vacuum. For millennia, men have filled a specific vital role. They were the leaders, the protectors, the providers, the builders. They took on the high-risk, high-reward tasks that pushed civilization forward. They sailed into the unknown. They fought the wars. They built the cities. They created the systems that provide the safety and comfort you take for granted today. This is not a controversial opinion. It is a biological and historical fact. Your very neurochemistry is wired for this role. You are designed to find deep, profound fulfillment in overcoming challenges, in solving problems, in building and protecting. When you are told to suppress this fundamental drive, you are acting in direct opposition to your own nature. It's like trying to teach a lion to be a lamb. The outcome isn't a gentle, well-behaved lion. The outcome is a neurotic, anxious, dysfunctional, and ultimately pathetic creature that is at war with itself. You feel this internal conflict every single day. That constant low-grade anxiety that hums in the background of your life. That nagging feeling of being an imposter, of not quite living up to your potential. That is your suppressed nature screaming at you to stop asking for permission and start taking ownership of your life. From a female perspective, this is even more disastrous. Attraction is not a choice. It is a biological and emotional reaction. A woman cannot, on a primal level, feel safe with a man who is not sure of himself. She cannot feel a deep, burning desire for a man who is constantly looking to her for approval and direction. Your hesitation is a subconscious signal of incompetence. Your constant apologies are a signal of weakness. Your need for her validation tells her that you have no internal source of it yourself. You are asking her to be your mother, your therapist, and your cheerleader, when what she craves is a partner who is her rock. Now, let's paint a picture of the man who embodies this failure. Let's call him Kevin. Kevin is the quintessential modern nice guy. He's been told that the path to a woman's heart is paved with agreeableness, passivity, and endless emotional validation. He has become a master of compliance. He texts the woman he's interested in, "Good morning, beautiful," every single day, thinking repetition will create affection. He agrees with all her opinions, even when they clash with his own core beliefs, because he believes harmony is more important than authenticity. He thinks that by becoming a perfect, frictionless mirror of her desires, she will eventually turn around and see his intrinsic value. But she never does. Because what does she actually see? She sees a ghost, a void. A man with no spine, no strong opinions of his own, no direction, no mission that pulls him forward. He isn't a partner. He is a utility. He's the guy she calls when she needs help moving a couch. He's the shoulder she cries on when the man she actually desires. The ambitious, confident man with a backbone and a purpose is too busy building his empire to answer her texts immediately. Kevin always finishes last, not because he's a nice person, but because he is an empty one. He has abdicated his own identity in the desperate, pathetic hope of being liked, and in doing so has made himself utterly impossible to respect. He is a walking, talking participation trophy in the brutal game of life, and women can sense that lack of substance from a mile away. The answer to this crisis is not to swing the pendulum to the other extreme and become some aggressive, chest-thumping caricature of a man. That is just the other side of the same coin of deep-seated insecurity. The real solution is to stop trying to act like a man and to start the difficult, unglamorous work of building the foundations of authentic masculinity within yourself. It is not a performance you put on for others. It is an internal architecture that you construct, brick by brick, day by day, and this architecture, this fortress of self, rests on 3 unbreakable pillars. The first pillar, a defined mission. The second, unbreakable boundaries. And the third, radical self-reliance. Get these 3 right and everything else falls into place. Let's start with the first pillar, a defined mission. A man without a mission is not a man. He is a drifter, a piece of debris floating on the ocean of life, pushed around by the currents of other people's whims and desires. Your mission is your purpose. It is your why. It is the grand project of your life that is bigger than you, bigger than your fears, bigger than your fleeting desires, and critically, bigger than any single woman. Your mission could be building a business that solves a major problem. It could be mastering a difficult craft to the point of genius. It could be achieving a level of physical and mental discipline that puts you in the top 1% of men. The specific what of your mission is less important than the that. The mere existence of a powerful, guiding mission is what forges a man. It's the fire that burns away the trivialities, the anxieties, the distractions. It focuses your energy like a laser beam. Here is the secret you were never told. Women are not your mission. They are a welcome, beautiful, and often wonderful companion who joins you on your mission. The moment a man makes a woman the central focus of his life, his mission, he loses. He becomes a satellite orbiting her world. He loses his center of gravity. He becomes needy, clingy, insecure, and ultimately deeply and profoundly boring. A man with a mission has his own orbit, his own gravitational pull. He doesn't chase, he attracts. Women want to enter your exciting world. They do not want to be the entire world for you. When I was in my late 20s, I made this exact mistake. I was completely infatuated with a woman. I thought she was the one. So I made her my mission. I rearranged my entire schedule to be available for her. I abandoned my own hobbies and pretended to be interested in hers. I put my fledgling business ambitions on the back burner because I didn't want to be too busy if she happened to call. I became the epitome of the available, agreeable, nice guy. And the more available I became, the more distant and disrespectful she grew. The more I orbited her, the more she was repulsed by my lack of a center. The moment I lost myself in her, I lost her. It was a brutal, painful lesson. After that catastrophic breakup, I made a vow to myself, never again. I took all of that wasted time, energy, and emotional focus, and I poured it like molten steel into my first real tech startup. I became obsessed. I worked 18-hour days, not out of obligation, but out of a burning desire to solve the problem, to build my team, to win. And a very funny thing happened. Suddenly, my dating life exploded. High-quality, beautiful, intelligent women seemed to appear out of nowhere. Not because I was out there chasing them, but because I was radiating purpose. I was a man on a mission, and that is the most powerfully attractive force in the known universe. So here is your first practical, actionable step. Starting tomorrow, I want you to block out 1 hour in your calendar. Call it mission planning. No phone, no email, no distractions. During that hour, you will take out a pen and paper and write down the answer to one single question. If money and the opinions of others were completely irrelevant, what great problem would I dedicate my life to solving? Don't edit yourself. Don't judge the answers. Just write. Is it a problem in technology, in your community, in health, in art? It doesn't matter. This isn't about finding your passion. Passion is a fleeting emotion. Purpose comes from dedicating yourself to a problem that is bigger than you are. This is the first step on the road to finding your mission. The second pillar is unbreakable boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines you draw around yourself, your time, and your values. They are the practical, real-world application of self-respect. A man without boundaries is not a kind man. He is a doormat. He is a people-pleaser who says yes when his soul is screaming no. He allows his colleagues to dump their work on him, his friends to waste his time, and women to disrespect his standards. He avoids conflict at all costs, not realizing that the cost of that avoidance is his own self-respect. Let me be crystal clear. Having strong, enforced boundaries does not make you a jerk. It makes you clear. It communicates to the world that your time has value, your energy is a finite resource, and your principles are non-negotiable. This clarity is a gift to everyone you interact with, especially women. A woman cannot trust a man she can walk all over. She will test your boundaries, consciously or subconsciously, from the very beginning. She needs to know if your frame is strong enough to handle her emotional storms and the pressures of the outside world. Every time you let her cross a boundary without a consequence, you fail her test. You prove to her that your word means nothing. She may not even know why, but her respect for you will wither and die. She knows, on a primal level, that if you can't even stand up to her, You definitely can't stand up to the world to protect her and your future family. I once dated a woman who was brilliant and beautiful, but she had one major flaw. She was chronically, disrespectfully late. Not 5 or 10 minutes. I'm talking 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. The first time it happened, I was annoyed, but I let it slide. The second time, before our next date, I told her calmly and without anger, "I really enjoy spending time with you, but my time is the most valuable asset I have. If you're more than 15 minutes late again, I'm going to leave." She kind of laughed it off, as if I was joking. A week later, we had dinner reservations at 8 p.m. at a nice restaurant. 8:10 came and went. At 8:15, I sent her a simple text. "Sorry we couldn't connect tonight." I paid for the drink I'd ordered and I walked out. She called me at 8:40, absolutely furious, asking where I was. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I simply said, "I told you what I would do, and I'm a man of my word. I hope you have a great night." The line went silent. She was livid for 2 days. On the third day, she called and gave me a genuine, heartfelt apology. From that day forward, she was never late again. By enforcing my boundary, I didn't just teach her how to treat me. I showed her I was a man whose words had weight. My respect for my own time instantly multiplied her respect for me. Here is your practical application. Identify one single area in your life right now where your boundaries are weak. Is it the co-worker who constantly dumps their urgent tasks on your desk at 5 p.m.? Is it the friend who always forgets their wallet and expects you to pay? Is it the woman you're dating who cancels plans at the last minute with a lame excuse? Your task is simple, but not easy. The very next time it happens, you are going to say no. You don't need to be aggressive or emotional. Just be firm, calm, and direct. "No, I can't take on that project. I have my own deadlines." "No, that doesn't work for me." "No, I understand things come up, but we'll have to reschedule for another time when you can be sure you can make it." The wave of discomfort and anxiety you will feel in that moment is the feeling of your spine straightening itself out. Get used to it. That feeling is the feeling of self-respect being born. The third and final pillar is radical self-reliance. This is the profound, life-altering understanding that you and you alone are the ultimate source of your own well-being. Your happiness, your financial security, your physical health, your emotional stability, it all rests squarely on your shoulders. This does not mean you never ask for advice or collaborate with others. It means you never need to. It's about meticulously building a life where you are the primary asset. You are the provider of your own security, your own validation, and your own fulfillment. The average man today is an emotional dependent. He outsources his happiness to a woman. He needs her praise to feel validated, her presence to feel secure, her emotional labor to process his own feelings. This places an impossible, crushing burden on her and makes you incredibly fragile and vulnerable. When you are radically self-reliant, you enter a relationship as a whole, complete man, not as a desperate half looking for someone to complete you. You are there to share the abundance of your well-built life, not to extract a resource you lack. This is the fundamental difference between a king sharing his kingdom and a beggar asking for scraps. For years, I thought my financial success meant I was self-reliant. I was dead wrong. I was still completely reliant on the whims of the market, on the approval of my clients, on the external validation that came with success. The true shift towards radical self-reliance happened when I started building internal systems of strength. I built a system for my physical health, a non-negotiable workout and nutrition plan that made my body an asset, not a liability. I built a system for my mental health, daily meditation, a voracious reading habit, and, most importantly, a small, powerful network of strong male friends who held me accountable, not a girlfriend I used as a free emotional sponge. I built a system for my finances, multiple, uncorrelated streams of income, so that no single market crash or lost client could ever wipe me out again. I systematically identified every single point of dependency in my life and built a redundancy for it. I became my own safety net. This process created a profound sense of inner peace that no amount of money could ever buy. I no longer needed a relationship to feel secure or happy. And paradoxically, that is the precise moment I began to attract the highest quality, most feminine, most incredible women imaginable. They weren't looking for a project to fix or a boy to save. They were looking for a man who was already a king in his own right. Your practical application is to begin your journey to becoming anti-fragile. Pick one critical domain of your life where you are dangerously dependent on a single source. Is it your one job for 100% of your income? Is it your one girlfriend for 100% of your emotional support and social life? Is it the one gym you go to for all your physical fitness? This week, your only goal is to add one small layer of redundancy. If your weakness is income, spend 2 hours researching a viable side hustle you could start. If it's emotional support, call up an old friend you haven't spoken to in a year and reconnect. If it's fitness, learn a comprehensive bodyweight routine you can do anywhere, anytime, with no equipment. Start building your own systems. Stop being a fragile house of cards and start becoming a fortress. If you ignore this, if you decide this is too much work and you click off this video and go back to the comfortable anesthesia of scrolling through your phone, let me paint you a very clear picture of your future. Fast forward 10 years. The date is January 19th, 2036. You're sitting in the same chair, in the same apartment. You're 10 years older, a little heavier, a lot more tired. Nothing has fundamentally changed because you never did. You're still stuck in that same dead-end job that slowly grinds away at your soul. You're still swiping on dating apps, chasing women who are, at best, lukewarm about you, still getting ghosted, and wondering why you're never good enough. You scroll through social media, a masochistic ritual, and you see other men who took the hard path, the path of responsibility, living lives of freedom and choice. They're with beautiful, supportive, feminine women who look at them with admiration. They're traveling the world not on a 2-week vacation, but because they can. They're building businesses, creating art, and leaving a legacy. And you are sitting on your worn-out couch with a profound and bitter ache deep in your chest. It is the unmistakable ache of regret, the realization that you had a choice, a chance to become the man you always wanted to be, but you chose comfort. You chose to keep asking for permission. And now you are living in a quiet grey prison of your own making, haunted every single day by the ghost of the powerful man you could have become. That is the true price of inaction. It is a slow, soul-crushing death by 1,000 compromises. But what if you make a different choice? What if today, this moment, is the day you stop listening to the noise and start listening to that